Bernie Sanders may be 83 years old, but he still throws temper tantrums as if he's two. So earlier today, Bernie appeared on ABC News with Jonathan Karl, and they discussed his new Fight the Oligarchy tour that is going across the nation. Well, Jonathan thought it was appropriate to ask about AOC, because as you saw, they are doing the tour together, but apparently that was a bridge too far for Bernie. Take a look at what happened next.
A whole lot of good people. Alexandra is extraordinary. I am so impressed by her work in Congress and she inspires young people all over the country.
Would you like to see her join you in the Senate?
Right now we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more. This is important.
Well, I asked you.
Okay.
You want to do nonsense, do nonsense.
No.
I don't want to talk about inside the Beltway stuff. I got 32,000 people.
I was just asking you about AOC because she was out there with you.
Well, fine, but I don't want to talk about this. What was the last question?
I was just going to ask you one more question about you. I mean, that's all. I was literally your last.
What is your question?
Well, I mean, it's easier to. I mean, I want to ask you about your future. This is the biggest crowd. You said you ran for president twice. This is the biggest crowd you've ever seen. Are we going to see you run again, or what's your future?
No, right now, I am very proud that the people of the state of Vermont sent me back to the Senate with 63% of the vote. Right now, I'm Vermont senator. That's what I do, and I'm very happy to do it. I am 83 years of age, and I'm tired.
And Donald Trump is supposedly the one who's thin-skinned. Give me a break. Now, it's become a trope, right? We've all seen politicians walk off of TV news interviews that they don't like, and usually this happens on the right. But whenever it happens on the right, it is very different. Usually what happens is the politician, whoever it is, will give an answer. The reporter doesn't like it, so they ask the question, the exact same question, another way. They answer it again. The reporter isn't happy. And so basically, it either turns into the reporter is harassing the person, or maybe the reporter is now debating the person and just not letting go of a specific point. There are many iterations of this that we've seen on the right, but this is the first time where I've seen a softball question result in a politician just being like, okay, that's nonsense, I'm walking away. And that really is an indicator of how pampered and how coddled Democrats are by the mainstream media. That wasn't a provocative question at all. And Bernie didn't even have to answer, maybe he thought it was a gotcha question. It wasn't a gotcha question. I know there's a lot of anger right now at Chuck Schumer, but there are so many ways. Just off the top of my head, I'm not a politician, but that's if I were Bernie Sanders, I would say something like, that's AOC's choice. Why don't you ask her? Or I don't know that my opinion matters on that very much. I think Alexandra is doing a very good job in Congress, and if she wants to explore future endeavors, that's up to her. There are so many ways he could have handled that, but because it was a treacherous question, Bernie accused Jonathan Karl of playing nonsense. Oh, if only Bernie was a Republican, then he would know what nonsense actually is. Now, despite all of the nonsense that happened in that clip, Bernie actually made a good point. I will say oftentimes, I will give kudos when people deserve it. And Bernie actually had something nice to say about Donald Trump. A pig is flying somewhere.
Is there anything that you think Trump has done right?
Yeah, I mean, I think cracking down on fentanyl, making sure our borders are stronger. Look, nobody thinks illegal immigration is appropriate.
Ooh, someone in the Democrat Party is going to be very upset about that because supposedly the better immigration numbers are thanks to the work that Joe Biden's done. I don't know if you've seen that, but it is just a crazy claim that the Democrats are making. So over the last few videos, or actually over the last few weeks, there has been talk about the town halls, right? The Republican town halls have been exploding with angry protesters, but the same thing has been happening at the Democrat town halls. Well, Axios has finally picked up on this. I believe it's the first mainstream news outlet that I've personally seen reporting on it. But they wrote, "They hate us. Democrats confront their own Tea Party." But things get really interesting inside. What we're hearing, the senior House Democrat told Axios that a colleague called them after a town hall crying and said, "They hate us. They hate us." Among the things I got at a town hall were, "Will you call for Chuck Schumer to resign?" the lawmaker said. Last week I got, "You need to tell your leadership they had no right rebuking Democrats for being strong at Trump's speech to a joint session of Congress." Another thing I got was, "Democrats are too nice. Nice and civility doesn't work. Are you prepared for violence?" Yeah, it is the Democrat base who is itching for a fight. They are itching for an uprising or just civil disobedience. We've seen that at these town halls, right? I played a clip a few days ago of a lady yelling, I think it was at Representative Ivey, saying, "Why aren't you getting arrested? Why aren't you doing civil disobedience and calling for civil disobedience?" So this is definitely coming from the grassroots. And I don't think, that sort of radical rhetoric doesn't happen overnight. This is because of years of the media claiming that Trump is a Russian plant, years of the media claiming that Trump is the next Hitler, and the Democrat politicians to be specific, don't do anything to push back against that false media narrative. Instead, they gin up and whip up their base, and you got to wonder why. Do they condone all of this? Well, Senator Chuck Grassley, a Republican, held a town hall, and there were angry protesters outside. So as he was leaving his town hall, he was headed to his car, and don't worry, there was plenty of security around. But he just trolled them in the most classy way possible. He was mocking them without being condescending. I think you'll really enjoy this moment.
Stand up to Trump!
You just gotta love that. And he's probably around the same age as Bernie Sanders. Look, if Chuck Grassley can face a crowd of angry voters who are yelling, cursing at him, and wave at them, smile at them, give them a thumbs up, then Bernie Sanders can answer one of the easiest questions I've ever seen a reporter give a politician. It truly, just a world of difference between both sides right here. Well, I have two more stories I would like to share, but first I do want to recognize today's members of the Governor's Club. Again, these are people who have tipped the channel or given a super thanks. I really appreciate everyone's support. Most of these are from yesterday's live stream, the Saturday Night Hangout. Ruperto, Stringer Films 2 times, Gene Jr., Terry and Brain Folly. A lot of prayers. I remember your chat comment from last night asking for prayers about a mass shooting, prayers for not just the victims, but the families and survivors and anyone who was injured. I hope that they recover. Ty, 3 times. Wyatt, 2. Jackie, Sammy, thank you. Tasia, Helga, love your username. I did get your email, Helga. I haven't forgotten about you. I just haven't had a chance to respond yet. Maureen, and then Top Baker, and Melinda, thank you so much. I'm glad that y'all enjoy the videos. Well, over the last few, I feel like it's been about 2 weeks. Maybe it's been going on longer, but it feels like it's really accelerated. That these attacks against not just Tesla dealerships have been happening, but against people like you and me who have cars, just Tesla owners. People vandalizing other people's personal property. It's really sick. There's this new footage that just came out, and I'll be sharing these as I see them, just because A, I think you'll be interested, and B, the hive mind does powerful things. If people can help identify these people who are caught on camera, hopefully that will put an end to it, or at least discourage people from vandalizing other people's property. What is absolutely crazy to me about this clip is, first of all, he is a grown guy wearing pajamas in public. Not only are they pajamas, but they are Lilo and Stitch pajamas. Look, I'm not going to lie. I've worn pajamas in public before. However, it appears he's walking out of that building looked like an Olive Garden. Maybe it's not an Olive Garden, but it definitely looked like a restaurant or some sort of commercial establishment. And come on, you're going to do that and key a Tesla as if you're a superior human being and that person's car and that person's property deserves no respect. You are just awful and deserve to be found out over that. Well, Scott Presler, who is largely credited, I believe he deserves a lot of credit for Trump flipping and winning Pennsylvania yet again. He announced that he has a new idea with everything that's going on with the Tesla. Scott Presler wrote, "We should register voters at Tesla charging stations." I think that's a brilliant idea. First of all, most Tesla owners are likely liberal. I get that more people right now, especially on the right side of the aisle, seeing all these attacks and then seeing Trump and other Republicans backing Elon Musk, and then obviously seeing Elon Musk backing Donald Trump, I think that he's going to get a lot more Republican voters to purchase Teslas. But in the past, there's no question that the vast majority of their buyers are people who were really focused on climate change, focused on being green, and oftentimes that aligns with being a Democrat. So I think there's only so much that people can take. When you see all the vandalism going on, people are going to say, hey, do I really want to be on this side of the aisle? Is this really who I want to associate myself with? Do I really want to put myself in the crosshairs of all of this? It's almost, there is a straw that breaks the camel's back. So if Scott Presler goes out, I'm not saying that every Democrat Tesla owner is going to register and become a Republican overnight, but there is a tipping scale. There is a tipping point. There is a point where people say enough is enough. So personally, again, I think it's a brilliant idea, and I hope it turns out to be very fruitful and very successful. Last but not least, going back to the original topic of today's video, Bernie Sanders with AOC and his Fight the Oligarchy tour. Well, on MSNBC, they were upset about this tour, not because they disagreed with it. They think the tour is a great idea, and they think the message that Elon Musk and the AOC are putting out there is a good message, but they're worried that the vocabulary is too complicated for voters, that they're going to alienate people by using words that have too many syllables. Boo-hoo.
You know, the thing that I want to pick up on, Eugene, is the question I kind of put on the table is this approach. I love it. Yeah. First off, you know, the oligarchy tour, I think, kind of misses middle America because again, Democrats, in my view, being tone deaf from what the American people are saying. You know, folks sitting at the local pub aren't using the term oligarchy.
Okay, wait, but I'm sorry. They're in middle America. He launched a tour in Omaha. They were in Denver.
Look, again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you launch it. It's what you say when you launch it. And if you're using terms and phraseology, right, that is not directly connecting people, then that becomes a concern in the process. I mean, you're covering this here on the Hill and out on the streets. What are you hearing the response is to this?
Tell me you think voters are stupid without telling me you think voters are stupid. I think that is really demeaning. And look, even if people don't know what the word oligarchy is, if you have two major politicians out there talking about it, first of all, it's their job to explain what it is. Second of all, context clues. Third of all, everyone has access to a dictionary thanks to Google. Like, I don't understand what's so complicated about that. I think it's more tone deaf to insult voters and to insult intelligence than it is to use the word oligarchy. But that's just me. Well, first of all, I think it's stupid to use it in the first place because we're not in an oligarchy right now, at least not with Elon Musk. I mean, if you really want it, yeah.
You know, I talked to a bunch of Democrats this week who are happy that this tour, these kinds of things are happening just like you, but they agree. They think that the word oligarch is maybe one that they should skip, right? And go with something like corruption or something like that, right? That makes clear that there's a connection there and that people understand in their everyday lives, and one that is already kind of exists in the lexicon of our political environment, and that that gets people riled up. And so that's one. But I do think that someone has been waiting for anyone to do anything, right? Looking for some member of Congress, whether it be Bernie Sanders or Hakeem Jeffries or someone, to find a way to gather people together, rile them up, and then more importantly, channel that into something else, right? What happens after that? And that's kind of where they are. And so this is kind of a test case to see if these kinds of things will actually end up working. I think the bigger thing is what happens after. You're talking about, do you try to find a way to bring some Republicans over, some of those folks that don't like Trump?
You can't leave Republicans sitting on the sidelines because
that entire conversation is just laughable. They are tone deaf. They are definitely in their own bubble. It would be like if a Republican said fight socialism, and over on Fox News they're like, we don't know if we should use the word socialism because we're afraid it doesn't resonate with flyover country and everyday Americans and middle America. They're not going to know what it means. And also, I just hate the idea. Look, I sort of get the point that they have, but I have always been one to believe that people can learn, people can grow, people can learn new ideas, and part of that is the responsibility of our leadership. Our leaders are supposed to ideally, in the best version of the world there could be, should be the best of us and should push us as a society, push us on an individual level to be better. Like, yes, I believe in small government, but I don't agree that we need to dumb down language, dumb down conversations, and dumb down ideas to be able to unite together and get people to vote for a certain idea. Like, it would be like saying, well, the Constitution's too complicated. It's old language. Like, it's ridiculous. Okay, if you don't like it, then teach people about it. Like, make your case. Persuade people. But yeah, that is just my take. As always, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. That is what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So, going back to Scott Presler and the Tesla dealership signups, what do you think about that idea? Do you think it's brilliant? Do you think he's not going to have a large catch, that maybe those Democrat voters are going to stay Democrat and they're not going to be convinced? Do you think that, hey, maybe it's going to be somewhere in the middle where maybe those voters right now aren't ready to register as a Republican, but maybe over time, if these attacks escalate and continue, they'll realize, hey, I don't want to be associated with this. Let me know your thoughts or predictions down below. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.